Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Teresa here, and today you are joining in with the Equinox YouTube Hop for the Traci Reed creative team. And today I'm going to be sharing a layout from my 2022 October Daily album. Oh yes, that one remains not completed for me. So I'm going to do day 13 here, and I wanted to just show you where this layout started and how I ended up here. So the Equinox collection has these absolutely gorgeous fall leaves included in the collection, and they're just a lovely color palette, and I love that there are pink leaves also in this. I love pink in a fall collection. And what I did was, first I printed out the elements as they were with the leaves as they were. And then I went back and printed another set of the leaves as they were. And then I printed a couple of the solid pattern papers in the collection. I printed those on vellum. And I also printed a couple of the pattern papers on vellum, and then ran those vellums through the silhouette without registration marks, and just had it cut those leaf files, just the border, onto the vellum and created all these leaves. And then I also printed out just these 3/4 inch strips of the solid papers as well, and they measure about 8 inches wide, and that's going to be the basis of this layout. I also you'll notice the wood grain tag. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And in Photoshop, I used the object selection tool to pick that white inside part of the tag, clipped the photo to that, and then printed it in silhouette and allowed the silhouette to cut this sort of rough, distressed edge. And so let's jump in here and start putting the layout together. So my idea here is to have the strips of paper, to roll them back, and then have the leaves come flying out of the strips, so to speak. And a couple of weeks ago, Traci did a really cool blog post about using strips in your hybrid scrapbook layouts. I'll be sure to link that blog post below. I did not participate in that blog post, but there's a ton of ideas for using paper strips in your layouts, and this definitely inspired this layout, and so I also wanted to be sure and credit Traci and the creative team for this fun idea. And so once I have kind of figured out where I want the strips to go, I tried to center them as much as possible. I am working on just a plain white cardstock background here. I don't do that often in a 6x8 album, but it works here because we're going to fill that up with all these gorgeous colors and these absolutely stunning leaves. And so I'm using my Apple pencil here to roll each strip just a little bit, and then a little tiny touch of adhesive to hold them in place. Now, I will tell you this, that after I stopped filming and was photographing the layout, the little rolls were starting to come undone. So I went back and ended up using glue dots to adhere them down, and I wanted to be sure and point that out because the rolling adhesive wasn't quite strong enough to hold those in place. It did hold it long enough for me to go back in then and secure them, and also at the end, when you see the finished layout, they might look a little bit different. But basically, what this allowed me to do was to sort of figure out what the lengths for each strip needed to be, because I didn't want them to all be the same, and I did want a little bit of variation there, just to create some visual interest and create the feeling of the wind blowing the leaves. Did you ever see the wind just descend on a big leaf pile and they all just go whoosh? I love that. I love that free feel, that free spirit of autumn leaves. And that's definitely what I had captured in my photo. And so that's sort of what became the basis primarily for this layout, was just simply capturing the our backyard. As you may know, if you follow me, our backyard has this lovely line of trees that we love having back there. And one of my favorite things is when I look out, this window is our large window in the living room, which I specifically chose this house plan for one, because it has that beautiful window back there, and we chose this lot because we have that line of trees back there. And so then in the fall, when the leaves turn, it catches my breath as I'm going through the living room. And that's really like what I want to remember and what I wanted to hold on to through this layout. And that's sort of the core. If you were to ask me, you know, how do you pick your photos and your products for your layouts? I'm going to tell you time and time again, what are the things that I want to remember, both good and bad. And if it's bad, what do I want to remember that I can take with me into the future? And this is definitely one of those things I will always remember about this house and about fall. So I'm really excited that I had this opportunity to capture that in such a beautiful way in this album. And I will say there are some years that the leaves stay green until it turns cold, and then it rains and sleets and they fall off then. So this was a year where we definitely got the full fall experience. If you live in North Carolina, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Usually we're raking leaves in like December and January. It's the strangest thing. So once I have all those adhered down and I kind of have an idea where I want to put my photo tag down at the left-hand side, lower left-hand side, I'm going to start tucking in these leaves. And I did use glue dots for these. This is a genius idea for using vellum, because you can use the glue dots and tuck that in so that your adhesive isn't seen. It's underneath the paper strips. So that works out perfect. And I'm just following the order of the strips of paper. So orange, yellow, green, blue, a little bit of brown, and then the pinks at the bottom. And I'm just playing this by ear. One of the things that I think made this work so well is tucking in or alternating vellum, cardstock leaf, vellum, cardstock leaf, just to get that feeling of texture. And the other thing you'll notice that I'm doing as well is a lot of curling. Every piece that before I tuck it in, I'm sort of curling up those edges and almost creasing, but not quite, because I didn't want them folded. I just wanted them to have that, again, that feeling of whoosh through through the yard or through the countryside, wherever you happen to be, wherever it is that you dreamily think of fall leaves. I'm definitely a fall person and love when fall arrives, mostly because of the cooler temperatures. So that's kind of what's directing me here at this stage, is just kind of rolling them up a little bit to lift them off the page, and alternating vellum and cardstock and vellum and cardstock. And even now, before the layout's even done, I'm kind of blown away with how beautiful this turned out and how pretty these leaves are. Alright, so once all the leaves are in place, it's time to add the final embellishments, a bit of journaling, of course, and my day number. This is day 13 in the 2022 October Daily Album. And so first, I had a little detail that I didn't even notice at the beginning of this process video, but when I clipped the photo to the tag, there was a little bit of some flowers that got separated from the bunch. So no problem there. I'm going to use the flowers that are printed on the tag as a little bit of a background image, and then layer another floral on top of that, and then add a little bit of ribbon here at the top. It's just a very simple brown and white or brown and cream tag that carries in more of this sort of warm wood grain feel, where we're starting to see the trees when the leaves fall. And that's always something that I think is really cool too at this time of year. There were 2 beautiful butterflies in the digital kit, and so those, again, I folded up the edges of those leaves, of the edges of their wings a little bit, and again adhered them in the same order as the color strips on the back, and they're just sort of floating off into the Never Never Land with the other leaves. And then these beautiful labels, these are already distressed. They're also in the digital kit. And so again, I had the silhouette cut out the little crumpled edges. I love that. I love that so much. And then just writing a few little words here about what I'm seeing and how happy it makes me. The day number, I've tucked that underneath the flower on the tag as well. And then I thought I was going to use this little pink word strip from one of the tickets. It says beauty, but that didn't end up working out. I ended up adding of course, the perfect title here, Golden Days. And with that, the layout is complete. Thank you so much for joining our hop today. Be sure to check all the links down below and watch everyone's process videos. Leave a little love for everyone, and I'll see you back here again soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.